The problem is food has influence over us. Food is something we have to learn to live with, right? We need food to support every bodily function, every hormone, every cell in the body needs energy and nutrients. So we have something that we have to learn to live with, right? And then what happens next? We have food that is designed in a way, right, to promote eating, right? The food has an effect on us, right? The food itself. And so people who are experts at storing away fat, right? People who are experts at gaining weight, which if you think about it evolutionarily, we've been programmed to be. You know, humans have 2.4 million years of evolution, right? Which means that, you know, 2.39 of those million years, we've had to be experts at storing. So the overwhelming majority of people, right now in this current food environment have metabolic syndrome, right? At least, you know, about 90% have some sort of disease or some aspect of disease, whether it's hypertension, diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, meaning they're experts at storing and making energy available in their blood very quickly, right, with very little. So if you think about this, right, if you think about it, you know, we have to learn to live with a constant drive to eat. You'll understand that whatever process you do is going to be lifelong, right? Whatever process, you're not going to wake up one day and be able to turn a switch off and not be hungry, right? You're not going to be able to wake up, turn a switch and say, you know, I'm going to live with a life without food. We cannot abstain from food forever, right? Our social environments are completely predicated on our food environment. How do we get together, right? If I'm going to invite you over, Nayiri, what am I going to do? We're going to set the table,
yes,
right? Okay, and we're gonna share a meal. So it's a way we express love. It's a cultural norm. Everybody's tied, you know, socially to dinner in this country. They come home, they eat dinner as a family, right? So we're not escaping food, and we certainly don't have the control to flick that switch and turn appetite off, right? So this is a drive, okay? A drive to eat that's irreconcilable, that will live with you until you die, right? Or maybe until something really bad happens. And yet we have to learn to live with that drive. And that drive can become very manipulative, right? How many times have you said, I just, you know, ate off plan. I might as well eat, you know, French fries, pizza, you know, I'll finish this week, I'll go on vacation, and then I'll start again after that, right? Look how manipulative that drive is. Or have you ever found yourself saying, oh, you know, I've been really good, I deserve it, right? I've been really good, I deserve it. Like, I've been sticking to my diet, I deserve it. And then somehow you eat this food. I mean, think of how manipulative this drive to eat is, right? It is now, yeah, you may be a great person, but you also deserve health, right? You may have been off plan, right? But it's not a reason to go destroy your health for 3 weeks on end, right? So this drive to eat is irreconcilable, and calories have nothing to do with it.
This
right?
And the sort of notion about sort of treats. Oh, I deserve the treat because I worked out. I was on the treadmill for about 30 minutes and now I deserve a treat. It's like for every little thing we seem to do in life, we want to reward ourselves with a treat, and that treat is usually not steak and eggs. It's literally, for most people at least, it's junk food. It's what many call food-like substances.
So let's unpack it, right? What is going on here, right? You're saying maybe it's culture, right? Maybe it's that person doesn't have self-responsibility. Maybe it's the, you know, what is this? What is it that's driving it? But at the base of it, right, we are animals with this drive to eat, and there's different, this is how manipulative the drive to eat is, right? It can manipulate your emotions. I'm going to give you a quick example. Okay. So you have a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a car?
I do, yes.
Okay. Did the culture make you feel oppositionally defined, angry, and agitated in a scenario where you're being supported? Right? Did society do that? Right? You feel supported if he says, hey, wait, your tire is flat. Hey, wait, there's somebody stealing money from your bank. But when he says, hey, maybe you shouldn't eat that, right? All of a sudden, we feel angry, agitated, opposition defiant. So this drive to eat, it's manipulated your emotions. And you're not the only one. I'm not the only one. Every single person in this office responds the same exact way. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. I'm a grown person. This is the response they would say if somebody said, don't eat that. So, and just in the same sense that your emotions can be manipulated by this drive to eat, logic, our logic can be manipulated, right? I've been good. I deserve it, right? I've been off plan. I might as well keep going off plan, right? They both can't be true, right? Have you ever done this one? I'm sure you've done this one because, we're Armenian. So I was 350 pounds. I wanted to lose weight desperately, and I would eat my kids' leftovers. Guess what I would say?
We don't want to waste food.
We don't want to waste
Throw
food.
away food.
Now, do you think that I'm thinking about those kids in Harapach that are worn torn when I'm eating that food? Do you think that's why I'm eating? No, right? So just for the listener, Harapach is in a disputed area of land that Armenians were basically massacred about 2 years ago. It was very tragic. But anyway, it's a very rural kind of area, strapped for resources, and a lot of hungry people, a lot of orphanages from family members who've been killed in generations of war. But as much as my heart goes out, and we've donated absolutely to those causes, the reason why I'm eating in that minute, right, has nothing to do with that, right? So my logic has even been manipulated, right? While it's true we shouldn't waste food, starving kids and orphans in Harapach have no reason, has nothing to do with why I'm eating. So something's manipulated my logic even.
So how much of, Dr. Tro, how much of this manipulation is controlled by our hormones?
So look, take the next step, follow this. So your emotions have been manipulated, logic can be manipulated, right? And you can say to yourself, well, I'll just have a little bit. And while it's true, just a little bit is fine, right? Like, what happens next? I'll just have a little bit more, right? I'll just have a little bit more. So this logic, when it comes to the drive to eat, when it comes to food addiction, it is a manipulative problem. You can't trust it. You can't trust your emotions. Why would you feel oppositionally defined? Why would you feel angry and agitated when somebody's supporting you? You can't trust that. You can't trust your logic because it's going to say logical things like we shouldn't waste food, but it has nothing to do with your relationship to what that is, right? Something is manipulating you to eat. And the worst part is outlook, your outlook and your mentality, right? You'd never, get a flat tire and say, you know what, I'm just going to stab all my tires and I'm going to smash my windows and then I'm going to start with a new car on Monday. We would never say that, right? So this is our outlook has been manipulated when it comes to food. And how much of it is hormonal? A big component is, like, we can see it. High triglycerides make you leptin resistant, makes your brain hungry, right? Like, we see leptins through the roof. We see triglycerides in the 300s, right? Glycemic variability, right? Even diabetes in itself, the glycemic variability, you could tell your listeners, right? What happens when your sugar goes from really, really high to really, really low? What is your brain saying? It says, get me awesome food,